Welcome back to Rebuilding WoW in Unity. This is Devlog number 12. 3 things this week. Combat, there's now auto attacks, floating combat text, and mobs can kill us. Quests, overhead markers, NPC dialog windows to pick up quests, and a mouse cursor that changes depending on the NPC. Lastly, I've created a brand new character controller in the hopes of finally getting more accurate player movement, both for the player and other players in the world. Let's get into it. For combat, there are 3 parts. First, there's the auto attack. By right-clicking a mob, the attack swing packet fires. The server replies with attacker state updates, and every hit feeds straight into the combat log on the chat frame. Second, the floating combat text. These are pooled world space text labels that rise off both of the combatants as they swing at each other. For now, it only covers damage, but eventually will cover healing too. And third, the dying and go state. Upon dying, the release pop-up appears, you enter the ghost state, run to your corpse and reclaim it. The quest and NPC changes can be broken up into 3 parts. First, the floating overhead quest markers are the original M2 models, loaded through the same M2 pipeline as every other creature in the world. They are driven by the quest giver status query. So for instance, if a quest is available, you should see a yellow exclamation mark, whereas if you are not yet ready to hand it in, it should be a grey question mark. Second, the question sequence is now driven by the UI. So the greeting, gossip, quest log, and tracker are all running on the same authored Lua and XML the retail client uses. I built the C-side bindings it calls into, then feed it past packets from the server containing the quest details. And third, the mouse cursor itself now responds to the NPC flags, quest status, and even interaction distance. It swaps to the sword cursor on an attackable NPC, the anvil cursor on a repair vendor, the quest cursors on a quest giver. It also swaps to the unable to variants of the cursors, the grayed out ones, if the player character is further than 5 yards from the NPC. I also made some changes to the player movement systems. First, the character controller itself. I rebuilt it based upon a teetotum collider, a vertical cylinder tapering to a single point at the player's exact server position. This was based upon an image I found within the WoW Dev Diary book by John Statz. I have always worked with capsule colliders for character controllers, so this was something new for me. This makes collision detection cheaper on stairs and slopes. I also tuned the physics to achieve a more accurate jump, with brief air control so long as you move within the first half a second after jumping. So now, when testing the Unity and retail clients side by side, players move more accurately on both clients. The movement and rotation lerping was a pain in the ass to get right, but very satisfying to see in the end. And that's it for this week's devlog. Next up, I want to take a brand new level 1 character, learn an ability, kill some wolves, and ding to level 2, which means spells, abilities, and the experience system all need to come online. Let me know what you'd like to see next in the comments below. Thank you all for the support, and I'll see you in the next one.